सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Having well restrained the group of senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings, they also reach me. See, this Nirguna Brahma Upasana cannot be objectified. Saguna Brahman can be objectified. You objectify Brahman and worship. That is referred as Saguna Brahma. You do not objectify it and worship. That is known as Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Right. Saguna Brahma Upasana is taking Brahman externally, seeing Brahman outside, attempting to see Brahman outside. That is referred as Saguna Brahma Upasana. Nirguna Brahma Upasana is trying to see Brahman inside. Because you can start that search from either case. Either you can start your search from the question, is there God? Who created the world? Etc. Which is pursuit is starting from the outside. Or you can start from, who am I? What is my nature? Why I am born? Having born, why do I die? Is there actual death? Etc. These sort of questions with reference to the subject when you ask, the pursuit is very different. But what you need to understand is both are spiritual. Whether you inquire who created the world, who is God, where is God, what is he doing, why did he create the world, etc. All these questions when you ask, you are keeping your focus external. Search is external there. Now the same search where to turn internal, introverted pursuit, when it happens, it becomes Nirguna Brahma Upasana. So this meditating upon God is called Saguna Brahma Upasana. meditating upon the meditator is called Nirguna Brahma Upasana. That's the difference. So Arjuna is asking, which is better? Conveniently, he forgets one important point. To whom? For what? When? Right. When this is relevant? When this is important? At what stage? To whom it is? For what purpose? So, unless you define these 3 points, we can never answer the question, which is better. Since Arjuna did not specify those things, Krishna understands that Arjuna has not understood the importance of these 3 points. Therefore, first he consoles Arjuna, saying, Saguna Brahma Upasana is better. Something you have to say. Right? So he says that. And then starts explaining what is Nirguna Brahman. Verse 3. And in verse 4, he is giving the necessary qualifications for Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. Who is qualified and what is the effect? Right? What is the nature of Nirguna Brahman? How do you conceive, what do you understand as Nirguna Brahman? Verse 3. Verse 4 is explaining who is that? And he gives 3 qualifications for that again. The one who has controlled the group of senses. Group of senses means including mind. Or you can take it as organs of perception, organs of action. Jnanendriyas, karmendriyas. Now, whenever we discuss about indriyas, what is understood is mind. Or you can interpret it as Shama and Dhamma. Right? So, whoever has attained the entire, all the necessary qualifications, understood is all the necessary sadhana chatushtaya sampatti that fellow has. By the term, when he says that group of senses. Then not only that, he says next point he gives is regarding everything equal. Which means, when can you regard everything equal? Doesn't make a difference, sir. Only when you are not having a value. Only when you are not having a strong value. When you are having a weak value, it doesn't make big difference. It's okay. Chalo. We'll say. 15 rupees, no, it's okay. Doesn't matter, give. Where? Not everywhere. When you go to a fine dine restaurant, they say what? 10% fixed service charges. So you eat for 1,000 rupees, you have to give tips 100 rupees, what we call as. Now the new terminology is service charges. Will you give on your own 100 rupees? No matter how much you eat, 10 rupees. Okay, 10 or whatever the change. Whatever the change that comes, we give. I'm not saying, which is right and wrong. I'm not saying give 50, 10%, you give 20%, you give 25%. That's not my problem. But what is interesting is, you can afford to just give. How much? When will you give? only when you are not having great importance, value. Is a tips as an example. You just give. It's okay. Doesn't matter how much. That will show us what is our value. That's all it is. So for us to say, sir, I'm not having any, for me to treat equal, you can close it. No? For us to treat everything equal, what is needed? We need no strong liking for something or disliking for something. So long as you are having this raga dvesha, no possibility of treating everything equal. I have a like what to cook. You have a strong like, or you don't have a strong dislike. I don't like, or I like. I don't like Karela. I like potato, bitter gourd, potato. I don't like bitter gourd. I like potato. Then is it possible for me to treat that meal equal? It's not possible. When can I treat equal? Only when I am not having it. So when he says the person who is regarding everything equal, samabuddhaya, means he has a samabuddhi. Samabuddhi means he is treating everything equal. Meaning he accepts everything equal. Doesn't mean he is going to treat both the same way. The way you prepare Karela is different from the way you prepare potato. Potato sabji, the preparation style is different. Karela preparation is different. That he knows. Don't think, he regarding everything equal means he is going to treat everything equal, everybody equal. No. He's not going to treat everything equal, everybody equal. He is going to view everything equal. Internal vision of his. Essentially, that means he is balanced, means poised. That's the meaning of samabuddhi. Then he gives the third qualification. Sarvabhuta hite. Sarvabhuta hita means Sarvabhuta hite rataha. Ratha means rejoicing, celebrating, enjoying. The one who's celebrating, enjoying, wishing the welfare of all beings, no exception. Right? To my family, sir. No. My child should be, bless my child. That's how people go to the temple also to do put puja. 5 rupees ticket you buy. Archana ticket. 15 minutes he is telling family members. This is the nakshatra, this is the, this one, nama, this gotra, this one, that one, then that same thing again and again and again. He just goes on and on and on. Now do it for a very weird here we have in our culture. There are people who say, do archana in the name of God. Have you seen? Sami perle pannidunga. Now, how can you do archana to God, for God, in the name of God. Amazing, yeah. That means what? He says, if it is done to you, it is to the whole world. There is no such thing, actually speaking. There is no such thing called doing, Archana to, according to any of these agamas. Agama is the one who teaches us the worship methods and things and all that, rules. To my knowledge, at least, in no agama tradition, they have a system. Because first you have to give, any archana you have to do, two things are compulsory there. You have to give Gotram, you have to give Nakshatra, and you have to give name. Right? Swami Birke Paradungo. Now, which name he will give? At least one we can give. Sir, in this temple, that's the name for the deity. So we are giving that name. Okay. Cherry. Other two? Which Gotra? Narayana Gotra. There is no such thing called, he doesn't have a Shiva Gotram. Shiva Gotra means I don't know my Gotra. That's what it means. Which Gotra you belong to? Somebody say, Shiva Gotra, sir. Shiva Gotra means what? No Gotram. God's name only. There's no such thing, but it's a fascinating idea. What they are doing there is this welfare of all beings. When you do all this, now what is this? Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. It's not that, those who are doing puja in the name of God are, filling it, sir, 1/3 of quality I have. That's not the meaning of it, remember. The meaning is much more than that. That is, I do so much of service, sacrifice, out of which I gather enormous punya, and that punya I distribute to everyone and enjoy. I cherish the distribution of my punya to the world. That's called the Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata. It's not just, saying, I want everyone to be happy, sir. Don't say that and expect you also belong to that category. No, it means I slog, I gather punya. Now, what is gathering punya, you don't understand. Because it is adrishta. It is imperceptible. Adrishta doesn't mean luck, please. Okay. It means imperceptible. Punya is an imperceptible effect of your good deeds, your service and sacrifice. That you should have the capacity to distribute to the world and rejoice in that. Cherish in the distribution. Since we do not know how that can be done, how that is happening, more complex. That is, as a test, they said, give material and see. If I convert that into material, you can understand. It will be easier. Otherwise, it's very tough. This is the reason why all religions were talking about dhanam. Every religion had spoken about dhanam. Why? Or all these religious masters want to live a happy life, is it? With all the money. You slog, you earn, I live happily with that. See, cannot be so selfish. That is pure selfishness. And those who talk about selfless living, to say that they are living a selfish life doesn't go together. There may be exceptions, one or two here and there. But you can't say the entire galaxy of those great masters who had recommended that as a methodology. Then why they did it, sir? This is the reason. The reason is, if you are not able to provide, distribute the perceptible thing, which is far more temporary, fleeting, and which has a very limited capacity to provide things to you, because material that you are gaining can give you a sense of security, but it cannot give you joy. Whereas punya can give two things. It can assure you joy also. See, it's not only one, it gives two. One, you want to get rid of that sense of insecurity, plus you wanted to have a positive joy in life. One is to avoid pain. That's what people say, no, sir, in old age, when I'm not able to earn money, what will I do? That's why, a few years back and all, they say, if a person were to get a government job, in marriage market, their value is what? Suddenly their market value shoots up. Why? Because after retirement, he will get pension. Even if he goes, she will get pension. So what happens? Till she dies, she has a guarantee of what? Income is guaranteed. With that, what can you do, sir? You can be securing yourself with that. So you don't have to have fear. You take medical insurance. For what? Life insurance. For what? What it can do, sir? With all that, you can have a sense of security. No doubt, it does give. Vedanta is not saying it is not giving. They say, yeah, of course it gives. But when you acquire punya, the effort that you have to put in to acquire wealth, if it is 1 unit, to acquire punya, you have to put 10 units. Right? What happens with punya, sir? With punya, you get two things. One, punya guarantees you security, plus it guarantees you enjoyment also. Both are guaranteed. But the tragedy is, by nature, it is imperceptible. I can't show you. You see, you have to infer. Inferences means depends on the intellectual capability to infer, detect, and understand. That's the meaning of intellect. The meaning of the word intellect is to see the imperceptible through the perceptible. From the known, you detect the unknown. That's called intellect. So from visible, what is visible? I do a good karma. For that, I get a visible benefit. Along with the visible benefit, there is an invisible benefit also, which is called punya. Sarvabhuta hite means the person who rejoices in what? In distributing that punya that he has gained, for which he had slogged. You don't get it just like that. Exactly like You don't get material wealth just like that. You have to slog. You see people how they have to work from morning till evening. How much fights, how much of thinking, how much of calculations. For that, how much of preparation? 22 years of preparation. Isn't it? In the name of education. For what? See, with all that, what are we doing finally, sir? Don't be naive, thinking that, we are doing all this to, make a human being, developing human being. Allah byproduct. Your main product is what? Incidentally, he will develop certain culture, he will become better, he'll get this, he'll get that. All that is incidental. Isn't it? Primarily, what is it, sir? So, 22 years of full-time preparation and then slogging from morning till evening, some of them continuing in the night also. Then traveling, the politics in the office, managing that politics, managing this, managing that, so much of effort that you have to put in to get that little material wealth. To generate that wealth is not easy. Right? You know better than me. How much work you have to do for that. You do all that. After getting all this, the spiritual fellow comes. Religion comes and says, distribute it to people. Give it off now. When you are giving a portion of your wealth, what are you giving? You are just giving up that much of portion of your slogging. How comfortable you will be. How happy you will be. That's why in wealth management, it's so easy. Earning part is the easiest part. Rest of the three is the most difficult part. Preservation, spending, parting, almost impossible. That's why a man writes a will. After my death, you can distribute. He will never give when he is alive. Why? Afterwards, you do what? After you go, who cares? What happens to that? Because anyway, you cannot do anything with it. That's why one brilliant fellow gave one advice. There should be some technique with which, because we believe in reincarnation and all, Reincarnation, So, what I will do is, I will take a will from you. And you means nothing will be there with you anyway. So, I'll take from Bill Gates. Okay? Bill Gates dies. Takes birth somewhere. Now, you think he'll take birth again as Bill Gates or what? No. He'll be born in some family. Some local ordinary family, in fact. Now, their argument was, suppose if I go and identify this is where he has reincarnated, to that reincarnated fellow, I will give this wealth. Don't worry, till then it will be managed by the trust. So we'll create one trust. You transfer your wealth to that. Whenever you reincarnate to because next Janma when you are born, you will not get it, no? It's there in YouTube. I'm not joking, serious. It's idea. I don't know whether they executed or not. I don't know, but it's unbelievable. Like there are fellows, who started selling plots in moon. People bought it. I don't know. Maybe this also they would have bought. I have no idea. weird ones. Parting is impossible. Spending is also not possible. Preservation is a pain. Now you are preparing yourself only to what? To generate wealth. We don't know what to do with these three aspects of life. Of these four dimensions of wealth, the most difficult part is parting. Right? Parting with your own people itself is not possible. Now, religion comes and says, part it with someone who has not done anything. Can you do that happily? ATG irka? First question we ask is that, do you have ATG? Yeah. FRCA registration you have? Then this can be. Otherwise, no, sir. Yes. Why not? Parting is not possible. That is why government has to come and give you so much of things. That's why government had to impose a rule now saying corporate social responsibility. I say, social responsibility is not the job of the corporate. No, corporate job is what? What is the duty of a corporation? Corporate companies? Produce, distribute services. Through these methods, generate wealth, employment, wealth. This is what their job is. Why should they bother about what is the road conditions? It's all job of them. Then why they make it a rule now? Very interesting. Enforced. Compulsory now. If you go beyond a point, it is compulsory. The taxation, there are a lot of people are angry with taxations, Why? More you earn, more you have to pay tax. Right? So it's better not to. So the government is saying, don't earn so much. All of you should earn less than 7 lakhs. Don't earn more than 7 lakhs. That's all. Because every time tax paying is such a pain. 130 crores population, government is proudly saying, we have crossed 50 lakhs taxpayers. 130 crore population. In that, the best part is this. Only about 24,000 or something are paying tax, showing income more than 10 lakhs in India. I don't know whether this statistics is latest or old. One of the, the chartered accountant told me this. You know that? Yes. Only 24,000. 2,400.
24 lakhs. 24 lakhs maybe.
No, thousands. Not lakhs. Thousands. I said, how? I said, that's what it is. Why? Parting is almost, even if the government is imposing rule, we say what? Try to avoid. Try to avoid. Wherever we can. That doesn't mean you simply go and give and then, come to me. You can come to me. I'll say, come and sit next to me. That's all. Nothing can happen. Parting, that which is giving you a temporary solution to your problem, solves only 50% of your problem, which is also temporary. Because all human beings' efforts are directed towards two things. Dukkha nivritti, sukha prapti. Two things. Wealth can give you only dukkha nivritti. Can resolve your sorrow. It can give security against your sorrow. But it will not remove your sorrow, remember. It can take care of the medical bill. But the pain of the procedure you have to suffer. Pain of the disease you have to suffer. Medical insurance can take care of what? Hospital bill. So who benefits there? Patient gets a benefit or hospital gets a benefit? Isn't it? We get confused now. Of course, patients are, but hospital is the one who gets the money, no? Finally. No doctor is poor, isn't it? No hospital says close down because of lack of this one. We are not able to manage. No income. Therefore, we are closing our hospital. No. They are getting better and better and better. They are improving, they are growing. So who gets a benefit? And that doesn't mean, don't take medical insurance. Better take a medical insurance, okay? Why should I benefit the hospitals? Then you have to suffer. You have to pay the bills. It can take care, if you have money, it can take care of the medical bills, no doubt. You can get a better treatment, no doubt about it. But what about the pain from the disease, pain of going through the procedure, etc.? Can this wealth take care of that? Not possible. See, so wealth will do what? Ramatirtha, iron, gold are good for buying iron and gold. That's it. Superb statement of his. Iron and gold are good for buying iron and gold. With wealth, what you can do? You can get better sense objects. You can get a better TV, you can get a better car, you can get a better house, you can get a better mattress. Correct. Can you get a better sleep? With wealth, can you get a better sleep? Many would say, sir, first time rich. I'll say, sir, we are so happy earlier. Earlier, we are really happy, sir. That small house. You remember you had come to our house? Velo was telling me, just here. We're just staying close by here. You remember first time you came to our house? 2-bedroom house. 1 bathroom toilet. Had real. Now we have, mansion. Huge house. But there's no joy. I can't tell him, go back to that, double bedroom. Why do you live here then? No. Remember, it will give you better sense objects, which is good. Vedanta is not against it. It says what it can do, what it cannot do, you should know. What is possible by that, what is not possible by that. When you slog and earn this, imagine you have to slog and earn something which gives you complete dukkha nivritti, also sukha prapti, that too for a long period of time, sustainable. That's called dharma. Dharma essentially means that which sustains, is called dharma. So when you follow dharma, It sustains. What it sustains? Whatever you get, it retains. You can stay with it. You can stay with that for a very long period of time. That's called punya. Okay. Now the fellow is, again, remember the story of Mullah. Fantastic story. The Maulavi, the priest, asked Mullah, you should be charitable in life. Sir, I am absolutely charitable. How charitable are you? You test me, he said. Okay, suppose if you were to be having 10,000 gold coins, what will you do? He said, 5,000 I will give it to you to build that temple for God. Suppose you are having only 5,000 gold coins, then I'll give 2,500 to you, half of it to you. Suppose you have 100 gold coins, I'll give 50 to you. I don't change my stand. 50 to you. Suppose you have only 10 gold coins, then I'll give you 5 gold coins. Oh. Suppose you have 2 mules, what will you do? I'll keep it. Why is you changing? 10,000, 5,000, 100, 10. Gold coins I'm not having, but 2 mules I have. The argument is that. When you're talking, hypothetically you're asking me, I'll give, I'll give. But mules I have, no. Really. How will I give that? He says. Not easy. Says, that's what Mullah says. To give up something that you have slogged for, not easy. One step further is to give up something for which you have to slog so much. Much more difficult. Much more than that is in sharing that you rejoice. That is the point here. That's the Vedic chanting. Tachchayo Ravranimai. Kadum Yajnaya. Kadum Yajnapate. Says. Swastir Manushebhyaha. Says. Entire. Urdhvam Jigadu Beshasam. Channorastu Dvipade. Sanchatushpate. Yes. Purusha Sukta invocation. This is not only for human beings, for all two-legged beings, beings which has no legs, beings with 2, beings with 4 legs also. Everything should be taken care of. Yes. That is the welfare of all beings. Rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. Don't say, yeah, I want everybody to be happy. There's something much more than that. This is the nature of Nirguna Brahma Upasaka, or qualification for a Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. Who is he? Right. Then he says, okay, what is the effect of that? What happens? What happens to him? He says, Te prapnuvanti mam eva. Te means they. Prapnuvanti means reach, get, attain, achieve. Mam, me. Eva, also. or only. So eva has meanings like that, many meanings. Like prapnuvanti has many, same way. So those people, they refers to who? They refers to the qualified Nirguna Brahma Upasakas. Right? Those people, what they achieve? They achieve me. So what happens to the Saguna Brahma Upasakas? They also reach. They also reach. The Nirguna Brahma Upasakas also reach. Saguna Brahma Upasakas also reach. Both reach. This is one. Another aspect here is there is a pun in this word. Eva. Okay. This eva is taken as they reach me only, or only they reach me. You get it? Which means
Only Saguna.
Nirguna Brahma Upasakas only reach me. Saguna Brahma Upasakas better. But Nirguna Brahma Upasakas only reach me. This is what Krishna says. Na? Becomes Ayyo. Why is Saguna Brahma Upasana prepares you and qualifies you for Nirguna Brahma Upasana? Then through Nirguna Brahma Upasana, you reach me. This is what he is saying. You see, what he is saying is that Saguna Brahma Upasana prepares you, qualifies you. With that necessary qualifications, what are the necessary qualifications? These are the three qualifications of yours. You will get these three. Remember, these three will not be the effect of Nirguna Brahma Upasana. By doing Nirguna Brahma Upasana, you are not going to achieve restraint over the group of senses, regarding everything equal, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. Is not going to get. Nirguna Brahma Upasana will get you what? Me. You get to me, which means you get to realization. But from where you get these qualifications come through the effort of Saguna Brahma Upasana. For Saguna Brahma Upasana, what you have to do, he has already mentioned it in verse 2. There he has told us 3 points. So there 3, here 3. With that, you do Saguna Brahma Upasana. With that Saguna Brahma Upasana, you develop these 3 qualities. With these 3 qualifications, you do Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Through Nirguna Brahma Upasana, you reach me. This is the Krama. Bhakti Krama given by Krishna here. Te Mam Eva Prapnuvanti. Te Eva Mam Prapnuvanti. Another way. Right? There are 2 ways of seeing it. Te Mam Eva Prapnuvanti. It's another one. You change it. They attain me alone, nothing else. They also attain me alone. Don't think they are going to achieve something else. Right? They are also going to do the same job. Finally, what are you going to do? Same thing. Whether you, this is what one fellow said, see, whether you studied in this college or that college, both of us are working in the same company, no? My cousin's wife was telling me. She studied in one local college in, some village. Some college was say. I said, I have never heard of that college. Even in my place, nobody has heard of that college. But how did you got a job here? And that's the first thing I told, this boy, because they met in the office. She said, You studied from that reputed college. It's ranking college, that is. All India ranking it as college. I come from this college, and both of us are doing same job. Both of us are in the same team. In fact, you are reporting to me. என்ன college? Both attain same thing. So which means why this interpretation is important is, we saw that in the beginning. On what basis you decipher which is better? Betterment could be based on what you achieve, no? See, you go through this route, you get that. You go through this, you get there. So which is better, sir? Which is a better positioning in life? That's why we get educated, isn't it? Why we get educated? Because we know certificate is not going to give you guarantee of anything in life. Once you enter corporate world, your education qualification is not going to be the deciding factor. That percentage is very small. Your hardcore skills,
Soft skills, and now they say core skills.
core skills, they could say, yeah, core skills. Core skills is not. Then what is it? It's your soft skills that's going to take you. But then education, non-education, literacy and illiteracy, what's the difference? The head start. The head start that you can get from literacy, education, versus lower literacy or lower education. The head start is different. So therefore, which is better, to be educated or to get more educational qualification or less educational qualification, or no education qualification? But we say, sir, there are a lot of people who have attained great things, not educated at all. Dhirubhai Ambani, what education he had? But then he sent both his sons to higher education, no? Why? Isn't it? Why is because even though education alone is not going to guarantee anything, but the head start is going to be better. So what you achieve through education is different. What you achieve through no education or less education is different. So which is better? Depends on the result also. Correct? Now what Krishna says is, those who pursue Saguna Brahma Upasana, totally different path. Those who are pursuing Nirguna Brahma Upasana were doing something totally different. Because this man is looking outside and this man is looking inside. So his travel is outside, his travel is inside. Obviously, we'll think what? Where he will reach, what he will attain, what this man will attain will be two different things, no? Because two different directions. In fact, not two different. Diagonally opposite direction they are traveling. When they're traveling in diagonally opposite direction, where they will reach? Krishna says, don't think they are going to reach in two different destinations. Both are going to reach to the same destination only. Therefore, he says, they mameva prapnuvanti. They, me alone, they reach. It's not that they are going to reach anything else. It is not that the Saguna Brahma Upasaka is going to get any inferior result. Nirguna Brahma Upasaka is going to get a superior result, or Nirguna Brahma Upasaka is going to get an inferior result. Saguna Brahma Upasaka is going to get superior result. No such thing. There is no difference, no superior, no inferior results also. Both are going to get the same thing. That's why he says it is, they also reach me. Why that also? Is because of this. So he says, this is. Then he puts one conclusion. Conclusion is a superb conclusion he comes to. Yes.
I had a question.
Yeah.
So, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, does it, the basis of it is that me and God are the same, or I am God?
He's into investigation of what is the nature of Brahman, God or me. Not what he is doing, what he did, where he is. That's not his focus. His focus is to know. That's why we keep saying strictly Saguna Brahma Upasana we say, and Nirguna Brahma Vichara we say. See, it's not that we are having the same. They are two different things. One is Upasana, where you focus. You keep your attention on. You try to keep your attention on. And to keep your focus on, it's easier to keep focus on something which is visible. You cannot focus on something which is invisible. But you can inquire into what is invisible. Because can you inquire the visible? What you can inquire in the visible?
Perceive it and it's done.
What is this? It's a stand. Oh. After that, you see, no. After a point, no possibility of inquiring into. Now, the moment you start inquiring, you move into that invisible aspect. Automatic. Isn't it? Visible aspects, like there is no inquiry. Invisible aspect alone, inquiry is possible. So, Nirguna Brahman, what are you doing? So, when we say Nirguna Brahma Upasana, what is referred is Nirguna Brahma Jnanam, Vicharam, inquiry, investigation. That is what they are doing. So, Vicharam, where will you do? Outside or inside?
Internal.
Puja, where will you do? Outside only you do puja. Then slowly what you can do, sir, you can convert that external puja
Into an
internal activity. What is a Shiva Manasa puja you can do. But there also, you are only performing it, acting. Isn't it? You're only acting, no, there. Action is going on. Where? Internally, action is going on. Bodily, you are not taking the flower and offering. Bodily, you are not taking this, milk and pouring. Bodily, you are not doing. But mentally, what are you doing? Manasa puja.
Even there, it's action.
There also it is action. See, there also it is action. So therefore we say, like that man who built a temple for Shiva mentally. I told you, no, that. Yaar avaru per enna? I'm
All
just
the
missing his name.
devotees came there instead of what
The king has built a huge temple and he fixed the date for Kumbhabhishekam. That night Shiva appeared in his dream. On that day I'm busy. I'm going to another temple. Can you change it? Can you shift it? He said, Enna? There's a fellow who has built a temple there. I'm going for that. So can you change it? He said, who has built a temple bigger than my temple to which Shiva is going? He went to that village. And no sign of anything there. You see, no sign of any activity in that near that place. But he said, okay, anyway, we'll go and ask. Maybe he's building somewhere else. Maybe Shiva must have given a wrong address. He thought. Yeah. He goes. And the villagers, they ask, where is this man's house? They say, that fellow is sitting there. No, that's a guy. He goes, and that fellow is sitting, closed eyes. He's sitting. He's not opening. And king cannot tell, who he is also. No point. Because these guys you won't value at all. If you go and tell him, I am the king, he'll say, so what? I am the king of kings, he will say. Oh, don't talk to these guys, just simply quietly stand. He was waiting. And after about half an hour, 1 hour, he opened his eyes. Says, who? What do you want? I am this king. Then he introduced politely, the king, I had this, but Shiva came in my dream saying that you are building a temple, it seems. And he is going to come. Where? Shiva came and told you? Said, yes. That's why I'm here. And the fellow fainted. Said, my God. Shiva has told that he is coming to my temple. He has not answered the question yet. Right? Because this man wants to know where is the temple. Because one look at this guy, any fool can say, building a temple, this guy, impossible. Such poverty, stricken fellow he is. How can he build a temple? Says. Like Hanuman, he showed to this man the activities happening for the construction inside. So his job was that. Whole day, what he will do? Come and sit. And imagine, this sculptor I have to contact. And that sculptor has to choose the stone. So we are going today to pick up that stone. So he will visualize walking, searching in that, woods for the stone. Then they identify a stone. And then this man says, no, this is not a proper stone, reject it. That stone, this stone, that, all that. And then they decide that stone. And then they decide a day to transport. For the transportation, he has to go and beg to the neighbor to share his bullock cart. Nothing is happening, simply sitting. And that neighbor is shouting at him. He says, sir, please, I'm building a temple, so you need to do this, help to me, this, that. Fine, okay, chalo, take it. But bring it by evening, huh? Okay. So he takes the bullock cart and he takes, 4 or 5 fellows to take that stone and put it there and bring it back, wash that and treat that stone. After treating that stone, there's a big process, treating a stone before sculpting starting of that. If you just take a stone and then pillar, now which stone you will select for a pillar? Which side should be top, which side should be bottom in the stone? How will you decide? They say in stone also there are male stone and female stones. In stone, the Shastra says, Silpa Shastra says. So you got to identify which is the male part, which is the female part. Which should be used for what? And there are mix also. Male, female, mixed stones also are there. You have to decipher which stone to be used for what. Nothing is moving. Pusalar. Correct. Pusalar. That's a name. That's the name of the devotee. Pusalar. Simply sitting. The wife calls him for lunch. Okay, I'll come. Tuck, you'll go. Have lunch, sleep. And then again you wake up in the evening. Sit again. Where you left? Oh, they are struggling, no, to load the thing. Oh my God. And the bullocks got tired. You have to give, food to the bullocks now. Start feeding the bullocks and start coming. Again the whole day. I didn't stop. go to sleep in the night. Next day morning, wake up. What do you do? This. Everything is happening where? Nothing is happening outside. All activities are happening inside. Pusalar. That is also Saguna Brahma Upasana. Activity. Either you do puja outside or you do puja inside. Either you build a temple outside or you build a temple inside. Nevertheless, activities are going on. Okay. In Nirguna Brahma, there is no activity. Here, what? Only inquiry, vicharam, thinking. Only thinking here. You see, so Nirguna Brahma, strictly don't use that word upasana. Right. It's easier if you use the word Nirguna Brahma Vichara. Saguna Brahma Upasana. Right. So remember that. So Saguna Brahma Upasana will give you what? Saguna Brahma Upasana will give you focus. Right. Karma Yoga practice will give you what? Purity. Remember the three. Karma, Upasana, Jnanam. In that, this karma, he already dealt in 3rd and 4th, chapter 3 and 4. Now from 10 and 11, he is referring to Upasana. How you practice that Upasana, or what we call in the modern language as Bhakti. Vedic language is Upasana. Right. Now, Karma Yoga practice will give you purification. Mental purification will happen. Right. All the dirts will go off. All that self-centered, egocentric ideas, desires will get dropped off through that practice. What technically they call as Chitta Shuddhi is referred. So practice of Karma Yoga gives you mental purification, referred as Chitta Shuddhi. But then there is another problem we have. Another problem of the mind is Chittam here means mind. Okay. Chitta Shuddhi means mental purification. Another problem we have is the mind is not having the capacity to stay with something. Chanchala is there, no? Asthira and Chanchala is the nature of your mind. Now, the mind which is having constantly oscillating tendency, such a mind you have to stay with a point. For that, a training is given. That training is known as Saguna Brahma Upasana. That's called known as Upasana. That you can do on Saguna Brahman. Right. So with that, what will happen? If Karma Yoga is going to give Chitta Shuddhi, Upasana Yoga will give you Chitta Aikagriyam. It's called focus, concentration. How do you build concentration? Now, Upasana is the method to give concentration, focus. You learn to focus. So you practice that. So when you practice this karma and bhakti, what happens? Your mind gets purified. Also, your mind gets the capacity to stay put in a place. With the mind, such a mind, you engage in vicharam. And that's what he is giving as Nirguna Brahma Upasana or Nirguna Brahma Vichara, inquiry. This is where this vichara can be done in 3 styles. 3 steps are there for that. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So Nirguna Brahma Vichara is what? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasam. So in the class, what are we doing? Shravanam. So what are you doing here in the class? Nirguna Brahma Upasana is what is going on in the class. There is no other thing here. The class is giving you an opportunity to do 1/3 of Nirguna Brahma Vichara. So that's why we go on just having thoughts, ideas, inquiry is going on. For that, your mind should be stable. No? Imagine your mind is wavering everywhere. How can you focus there? Not possible. So to develop that, we say first focus something visible, tangible, relatable. Right? You can relate. That's where they built so many stories. Now, Krishna playing in the streets of Vrindavan. Vrindavana Leela. You read. It's so interesting. You can keep sitting and listening. Wow. You can go on listening. Ramayana, you can go on listening. Super. How Rama was walking. How Rama talks. How he went along with Vishwamitra. What is the Agalya story there? What happened to this Yajna? How he fought. What he did, what happened, what this. So much of things happening there. It's easy to stay put in that place initially. Right? When you come to this Vicharam, you need that capacity to stay put. But in Vicharam is not possible. That's what he is giving here. Verse 5. That's why in verse 5, he starts by saying, greater is their difficulty. Says, we read the verse? Read the verse.
Kleshodikatarastesham avyaktasaktachetasam
Avyaktahi gatir dukkam
dehavadviravapyate
kleshodikatarastesham avyaktasaktachetasam Tahi gatir dukkam
dehavadviravapyate.
Greater is their difficulty, whose minds are set on the unmanifest. For the goal, the unmanifest, is hard for the embodied to reach. Now he is coming to explaining the comparative point of Saguna Brahma Upasana and Nirguna Brahma Vichara. Right, now we will use the same term. Nirguna Brahma Vichara is those who are engaging in that Nirguna Brahma Vichara is greater is their difficulty. Which means what? Comparison. Saguna Brahma Upasana is difficult. Nirguna Brahma Vichara is even more difficult. It's not Saguna Brahma Upasana is easy. That's not what he is saying. See, many of them say that, sir, bhakti is the easiest thing. That means they don't know two things. One, they don't know the meaning of easy, and they don't know the meaning of bhakti. Or they are saying it just to encourage you. That's all. Hey, easy da. You say that, no, just to give some motivational talk, pep talk. Now, if you are a sadhak, a seeker will not fall for pep talks. Don't give me this. Pep talk will be his. He will not go for motivational class. Why? Because he is already having the initiative. See, the motivational class and motivational things are needed for a person who is lethargic, who is tamasic. who is indifferent, who is lazy. Out of laziness, he is not doing anything. So what to do with him? Old method is carrot and stick, isn't it? Old method. And many of them say, sir, stick is better than carrot, most of the times. But that will work only with whom? That will work only with reference to a person who is indifferent, lazy, tamasic. So for a tamasic person, you can do. Refined way of doing it is what? Motivating them. Crude way of pushing them is through carrot stick method. Slightly cultured, a refined way of doing it is what? Motivating them to do. Such cases we can talk like this. Pep talks. Not TED talks, huh? Okay. Pep talks. Will work. A seeker is one who has the initiative. What is the meaning of initiative? Initiative means what? The one who has initiative means
Internal, it's called.
You know the value of it and then you go for it.
initiative. See, these are all basic words. You have to get it clear. No incentives, initiatives. Good terminology, but then we should know the meaning, no?
So there's nothing external making that person do it. It is their own
Correct.
understanding. Yeah, so this is of
Should be a defined way of saying. Yeah, correct. It's not that it's wrong. There should be a defined way of speaking certain things. These, critical word terms. Doing the obligatory duties, performing obligatory duties, while doing what ought to be done without being told. That's called initiative. No one has to tell you, but you do what is to be done on your own, by yourself. That's called initiative. If someone were to give you instruction and then you do, then I will do, sir. That means what? There is no initiative. So the meaning of that's called incentive. Somebody is telling you, or somebody giving you, somebody forcing you, without any external. When you say, means without someone telling you, you do whatever your obligations are. So to perform your obligations, no one has to come and guide you, direct you. That's called initiative. Doing your duty without being told. That's called initiative. Now, those who have that initiative, you don't need a pep talk. Why? Because he'll say, don't waste my time, he will say. Because the time that he is spending with you listening to your pep talk, he would have completed the job by then. He doesn't require. See, so a sadhak is one who has that initiative. That's called a mumukshatva technically. He has that burning desire in him to get liberated. Right? Now, when he is having such an idea, like Vidyaranya says, the fire has caught his hair. How he will run towards water? He will not come knock your door and say, excuse me, do you have a glass of water, please? How he will jump? You will not be standing there and say, when you go to the river, you should, there's a way of taking entering a river. You can't simply enter. First, you have to, take a thing and sprinkle and have 3 spoons of that you have to take, and then take permission and then enter the river. because straight away you can't put your legs in the river. You know that? There's a procedure. Right? This fellow will do all that. Simply jump. You see, in fact, jump ulta. By the time he goes through this, ulta you have to jump. He will not say, I don't know swimming. Now we'll see later. First thing is what? Jump. That is the example he gives for a mumukshu, Vidyaranya. He says, such a person, you don't need a pep talk to him. So he says, what? It is not the choice between easy and difficult. So, bhakti or Saguna Brahma Upasana is not easy. Saguna Brahma Upasana is difficult. Nirguna Brahma Vichara is much more difficult than that. Now we have to do an inquiry on what is the meaning of difficulty first. See, that's how you are supposed to study. That study, when we say difficult, what do you mean by difficult? We are just using the word. Yeah, yes, sir. It's bhakti is so difficult, Surrender is not easy, I tell you. Very difficult, sir. Now, what is the meaning of difficulty? When Krishna says difficult here, whenever the Shastra says difficulty, are they saying that to discourage you? Oh, Krishna says difficult enough. I thought Gita study easy alko. Krishna himself says, so difficult. Adhika taraha. Adhika itself means greater. Taraha also means greater. Greater difficult. Adhika taraha. How he uses the greater difficult. Which means what? The Saguna Brahma Upasana is great difficult. With great difficulty alone you can practice Saguna Brahma Upasana. And remember that Klesha term has another meaning. It also means effort. That effort is another meaning of it, which means Saguna Brahma Upasana demands great effort. Nirguna Brahma Vichara requires even greater effort. Therefore, it's difficult. Since that much of effort is, because otherwise we'll say, oh, Krishna himself says difficult. Therefore, what we should do? Leave. What is the difficulty? See, there was a king who ruled Lucknow, Wajid Ali Khan. He was a great, admirer of music. Great admirer of music. He heard in the state, he was an extraordinary musician. He heard about him. And he went to his place and requested him to come and perform in his darbar. Right. Ivan said no. He said, I'm not coming. He's not like Tyagaraja. Right. He's not like Tyagaraja saint. Not in that sense. But he's a great musician. He said, no. See, I can perform only if audience can follow. I need a good quality audience. Can you guarantee me good quality audience? I cannot. Unless you guarantee me that, I cannot. Because performance of people always depends on the audience, It depends on the audience. That's a performers. If they are not, that's why every musicians, when they sing or when they perform, you have to clap. If you don't clap, the audience were to be sitting quietly and looking at him, they will say, no, nonsense. They will get, they lose interest. They have to clap. So you have to appreciate. If nobody is appreciating, at least the accompanist should appreciate. If the accompanist is also not appreciating, finished. That's why those who play violin, they say, sir, this musician is super, sir. Why? Because when I play a good, music, he appreciates. There are some, senior, center, they will not even react. They'll be simply sitting, they'll be singing. That's all it is. And the accompanist, cannot perform better. Their performance gets better. So he said, see, I need audience. And that man said, that king thought, since he is also a great musician, he understood, yeah, correct, makes sense. But my problem is, I don't know what you mean by quality. You mean to say all musicians should be there, or, musicians of A grade? In radio they have, no? A grade musicians, B grade musicians, C grade musicians. What you want? I'll put one condition. Anyone who fulfills a condition is a good audience. What? If they shake their head, chop off. They should come, listen to the music. I'll perform. But if that fellow, any one fellow were to shake his head, wow, avladhaan. Chop off. If you guarantee me that, I will perform. The king said, no, nonsense. But he wants to listen. How can you listen otherwise? Otherwise, you will never get a chance. They announce like that. Only such fellows should enter the auditorium. Otherwise, no one should enter the auditorium. That announcement was made. Newspaper ad lang kudutanga. Only thing is what? You can free entry. Conditions applied. Entry free, conditions applied. Small asterisk. He said, no, ulta you should put. Conditions applied should be in bold. Like, this government gave a verdict, no? Not government, I think the Supreme Court, in the packets, cigarette packets. It should be written bold. Injurious to health should be bold.
50%.
Yeah. After, Supreme Court, judgment only, these people changed. Otherwise, small will be there. 0.5 font size would be written. Like, injurious to health. He said, no, put it bold. What? You shake your head, any movement in the body will be chopped off. Your head will roll and you'll be watched. CCTV camera everywhere. You're fixed. And he started performance. Only few fellows were there, the auditorium. Few guys were there. Okay. Started. 7th minute, one fellow said, wow. The tragedy was, who said that, wow? Minister. Chief Minister. The king was looking at. The chief minister didn't realize what is going on. He is fully engrossed in the music. The king was looking at the musician was looking at the king, and the king was looking at the soldier who has the sword ready. And he looked at because that's a condition. Otherwise, he will stop. The king looked at the soldier, and the soldier took his sword and reached to that minister. And the musician said, stop. What? For him I will play. Now music starts. For that one fellow, I'm going to give my real performance. What now? See, what's a qualification for listening to my music?
Despite
says,
fear of death.
I don't care, man. I stake my life to listen to that music. That is audience. Musician is asking, what will God ask? Huh? Do you stake? That's great difficulty. என்ன டிஃபிகல்ட்டினா உபாசனால there's no difficulty. Listening to music is no difficulty. All you do, if you have to perform, there's a difficulty. Listening to a good music, what's a problem? Krishna's music is going on, the flute. A weird culture. One god is playing flute, another god is dancing. Appa, unbelievable culture. Why they brought out like this? Is that capacity in you to stake your life for the sake of God. Now, what we are doing now, exactly opposite. Ramtirtha says, you cannot serve two masters. You can't serve Satan and God together, not possible. Either you serve God or you serve Satan. Either you pursue spiritual or world. You can't do both. What we are doing, is there a possibility to have the balance of both, sir? No chance. Our life is like that. You run towards the world, you get the knocks and shocks, you run towards God. You run towards God, you get bored, you get bugged, you don't get any response, you don't get any reaction, you don't get what you want from God, you start running towards the world because of the temptation of the world again. The world tempts you, you run again to the world. World hits you, you run towards God. World tempts you, you run towards the world. World hits you, you run towards God. This is your life. This is the life of any average human being. Committed to neither. So when he says greater is the difficulty, that commitment is the problem. The rest of it is not the problem. Pursuit is not the, we think, oh, upasana is a difficulty. It's not the upasana that is difficult. The difficulty is because we lack that commitment. See, the olden days, you have to get married to a girl. There are 2 tests they used to have. Thank God they stopped all that. Otherwise, no chance of, 95% of men getting married nowadays. Either you have to fight the bull, or every village will have a stone. You have to lift it. You have to lift the stone and keep, and throw. Then you can marry. Otherwise, nobody will give girl. And first of all, no girl will marry. Even if you give, they say, get lost. Why they had that? Don't think the girl is so heavy, so fat, sir, to carry them, it will be difficult. Not that. To stand against a bull means to fight against life for the sake of that girl. You stake your life to fight against a bull. Not easy. Not like nowadays what they do. A bull runs, you also run along with that and hold it. It's not that. You have to tame that bull. Almost impossible. Bare hands to tame that bull is not a possibility. You have to risk your life for that. You have to stake your life. When you have that love and affection in you, stake for that person's sake becomes easy. Isn't it? When I am not having that, even to lift a marble is such a difficulty. I'm so tired. Can you get the remote? So the fellow has to come all the way, pick up the remote and give it in your hand. Oh, so lazy, so tired. You feel that actually. It's not that he is lying. He's feeling it actually. He's experiencing it. Why? There's no commitment. There's no affection. There's no love. There's no devotion. When you have that devotion, when you have that commitment, it's not difficult. It's going to be very easy, he says in the 9th chapter. Susukam kartum avyayam, he says in the 9th chapter. Susukam kartum means it's easy task, man. Very easy. What is very easy? 9th chapter, very easy. 12th chapter, very difficult. Why? It will appear to be difficult to you only when you lack this. Right? Then, why Krishna is calling it as difficult? One is, there are two issues here, essentially. Right? Next week, we'll do a general analysis of it. Okay? I'll give you the idea. Now, the two difficulty here is greater difficulty. I'm not coming to the difficulty of Saguna Brahma Upasana. Now we are seeing the difficulty of Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Why Nirguna Brahma Upasana is more difficult, sir, is because the subject matter is subtle. Right? What you are inquiring on, where you are attempting to focus your mind is something which is inconceivable. Already we have seen all that. Something which is indefinable. Something which is unmanifest, which is not visible. Right? It's totally unmanifest. That unmanifest things to focus. So, the subtlety of the subject itself, one problem. Adding to that, the equipment with which we are doing is gross. Two problems are there. Therefore, Krishna says it is adhikarataha. It's such a difficulty this is. It is greater difficulty because of these two reasons. Reason one, subtlety of the subject. Sukshma. Then the instrument that we are using is stula. Subject is subtle, sukshmam. Instrument is gross, sthulam. So with the sthula karanam instrument, you are trying to capture the subtle Brahman. Easy, yeah? Difficult. It is very difficult, he says. Very, very difficult. Which means it demands great effort. That's the meaning of it. That's the meaning of the hidden meaning of klesha. Is that? Is the effort. Great effort is needed. So first problem is the problem with reference to the subject itself. Vishayam. The subject matter. Vishayam is sukshmam. And the instrument that we are using to capture that is sthulam, gross. So therefore, he says it is far more difficult. For whom? Remember, immediately you have to ask this question. For whom it is difficult, sir? For the one who lacks that commitment, the one who lacks that love, the one who lacks that devotion. All mean the same. Example, Wajid Ali Khan. Remember, superb story. Wajid Ali Khan is a historical figure, but I don't know whether the story is real. But he is a great, admirer of music. As much is guaranteed. That much is sure about history. Lucknow. Can you stake your life for the sake? That commitment do you have? Even your head would be chopped off. I cannot restrain myself from appreciating music. I'll appreciate it. Doesn't matter. Let me die. It's okay. So, the first group of people who entered the hall, he performed, no? Who are they? See, the public is listening outside. Nobody entered. Many of them did not even enter. Of the fellows who entered, he chooses this fellow. And he says, not for the king's sake also. I am performing for whose sake? For that chief minister. For that one man. Okay. Why? Because even the fellows who are sitting there in that assembly, Darbar, need not be sitting with the idea of actually listening. They may just want to portray themselves or please the king. Just to please, or fear of king. What? I told you, you didn't come. Sometimes we go to parties, no? You have to go. Otherwise, that fellow will ask, I will give some excuse. I'm not able to find a good excuse. Therefore, you go to a party. Why? This is the reason. He says, no. This man says what? I am aware that my head will be chopped off if I appreciate music. He says, doesn't matter. If I am not appreciating that music, then what I am doing here? What's the purpose? There's no point. It's worth, he says. My life, giving my life is worth for this. Or this old marriage style. Rama has to go and mend the bow, right? To marry Sita. Arjuna has to shoot the arrow through the eye of that fish, looking at the reflection in the water. You know that, no? Water, not glass, not mirror, water, which means it will be what? One is that is moving, and the water will be moving, shake. So you will never get a proper eye vision. In spite of that, you have to shoot. Right? Drupada got scared because he was wondering, exactly like the Dasharatha. Dasharatha also got scared because he was never having the idea of marrying Sita because of this or anything. One day, Sita was playing with the ball. Throwing the ball, the ball went under that box where he has kept, the Shivadhanusu. It was preserved. I went under. This girl goes, one kick she gives, it runs. And she takes the ball and runs away. Dasharatha saw that. What? 100 fellows are needed to pull that, to bring. Moving, they need 100 fellows to pull that and bring here. This girl, she goes and kicks that and walks out. Obviously, her husband should be somewhere equal to her, no? You see, that's why he said, anyone who takes the bow, that's all it is, lifting it and put the string it, that's the job. Otherwise, they'll not be, always will not be like that. So you have to lift it, bend a bit, and then string. That's the method. Otherwise, they unstrung it and keep, that's all. Rama went one step ahead. You want me to just, string it? No. Tuck. Nah, sorry. is like drumstick. Shiva Dhanusu is like drumstick. Yes. But it breaks. Useless one you have. There he establishes he is on par with Sita. Such a person alone can. And the tragedy was Dasharatha got so worried because he invites people, they come, they attempt to lift it. Till date, not a fellow has lifted it. Forget about Stringala. That's too much to expect. Same way, Drupada also had the same problem. Because everybody was attempting, everybody failed. Finally, Karna attempted. That's the last attempt. Karna also failed. Missed by, millimeter. He missed. If Karna has failed, no other king ever attempted after that. And everybody sitting there, nobody is attempting. Imagine if no one wins that. And Vyasa reports, he thought within himself, it seems, that I should have made it little easier, no? See, finally, he wants his daughter to get married, no? Imagine no one succeeds. Right? If everyone has failed, what is the next step? That was known to the whole world. Right? After that, he cannot say, okay,
Make it easier.
make it easier. Now I'm going to give you a little easier one. Not possible. Nor can he say, forget it. I will decide. Some alliance will fix. We'll marry to Duryodhana himself better, instead of going outside and all those things. This is the equal partner. We'll marry. Then you should have decided earlier. Now that is also not possible. Now he can't call Krishna and say, Krishna, you are having, 10,000. No, have 10,001. That is also not possible. Because Krishna is not even attempting. His simplicity. You can't force him to attempt also. If he wants to marry, he will attempt. Otherwise, he will not attempt. And it is so interesting. In Mahabharata, they say that Karna and his son also came for the Swayamvar. And Karna's son attempted. I don't know what conversation they would have had. That Vyasa is not reporting. He's too refined, You go, if you win, she will become my daughter-in-law. If I win, she will become your mother. Thinking, I said, weird. Anyway, I couldn't understand that. I said, it's there in Vyasa. Vyasa Bharata is there. He failed. After that, I know there are grades, the kings. They also come. Finally, this fellow comes. Thank God Arjuna came and won. Imagine Arjuna also didn't attempt. What would be the condition? Embarrassing, It's so difficult. You should have that courage to take that stake. Dasharatha took that. Janaka took that. Drupada took that. They got the best. That is the difficulty. For whom? For the embodied. Embodied means the Dehavat Bihi. Means the one who is embodied. Embodied means what? Oh, as long as you are alive, you cannot. That's a meaning, no? Those who are in body. So after death only you can. Not in that sense, please. It means the one who is involved in the affairs of the body. Body conscious. Meaning extrovert. Those who identify themselves with body, mind and intellect. Those who have the Dehabhimana. For those people, it will be, who are they? Na? They are the ones whom we call as extroverts. So for extroverted people, this is engaging in Nirguna Brahma Vichara, greater difficulty. That's the meaning of it. Okay. See you next class.